Forever, I wanna wake up to you. Brushing you off to make up with you. Do all the moves to lay out with you. To lay out with you. Forever, I wanna wake up to you. Brushing you off to make up with you. Do all the moves to lay out with you.
Crazy, sexy,
yeah,
cool.
Hey, what all you been through? All clean, all mean, tell me what is the truth. Cool, can me and you be two, then we be one. Never keep the score, almost being done. Cause God's still working and he ain't done. Wouldn't try to search, cause there ain't another one.
Hello.
I am Ambrosia Brittany.
And I'm Philip.Joe.
And this is
Britney+Joe.
Yes, we are here today to talk about
The money issue.
Yes.
The money issue.
Yep, part 2.
Part 2, episode 6, but part 2 on the money issue. And we got some good friends and some guests with us today.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, so please tell us your names and a little bit about yourself.
Sure, my name is Tyler Monk. This is my beautiful wife, Venetia Monk.
Hi.
Hey.
We're excited to talk about this money issue because we definitely know there's some issues in our lives.
Okay, man, awesome, man. Okay, cool. We not by ourselves then.
Yes.
That's dope,
yes.
man.
And that's why we're here to talk about it, because a lot of people don't, and they just struggle and they just go through it. And then it's like, oh man, I wish someone would have mentioned this before, or I wish I would have been able to see something or learn something from experienced, people who have been in a relationship and have went through it, so that I can not make the same mistakes. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, man. But first, man, you got to tell us a little bit about your organization, man, and what you do. Because I see you got some tight stuff over there, man, some dope things. Man, you brought us some gifts today,
We brought you some hoodies. So, about 3 years ago, I started an inspirational speaking and storytelling company called The Underdog Mentality, which essentially helps people tap into the power of their potential so they can lean into their greatness. And really, my background has been in the nonprofit world, working in the educational sector, and just seeing a huge gap as far as helping people realize that we have the power of personal choice and decision to develop a mentality that helps us overcome and to use whatever past that is, maybe at sometimes crippled us, to use it as a catapult to move forward.
Yep.
And so, I speak, I do keynoting, I do workshop facilitation, training, and whatnot.
Yeah. That's dope.
I read something that you don't call yourself a motivational speaker.
Not
what
at all.
What do you call yourself?
Listen. People, that's like, because people, we always want to put each other in boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if people call me that, I don't get offended. But I think motivation is really a feeling. It comes and it goes, it ebbs and it flows.
Wow.
You have it 1 minute, but you go out, your tires are slashed, you're hot.
Yeah.
You're not excited about life. So I want to be more of an inspirational storyteller and what I like to say is a challenging speaker.
Yeah.
So when I speak to groups, whoever that is, whether it's kids or older people, business people, geriatrics, I don't care who I'm speaking to. My goal is to inspire you, but then also challenge you. So when you come out of this room and this conversation, that you use whatever we've had a conversation about to change your mindset and your perspective.
Yeah. I love that, man. I kind of hear from you like more of that like personal accountability and personal internal motivators, you know what I'm saying, to connect with that with people. It's kind of like what I hear when you were talking about that. Because I think like not using the past, sometimes the things that may have, like you said, like crippled us before, but using those things now, man, kind of speaks to like, okay, what is the power of my own choices and not just the ones that I feel like other people made for me when I felt like I didn't have any power, you know what I'm saying? 100%. But now it's like, okay, like now, you're old enough now, okay, that was how you was raised, but you here now, you know what I'm saying? And so like, what's the next going to look like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's just dope, bro. That's just really dope. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yep, I love that. So tell us about your relationship, how long you've been together.
Yeah, so we've been together for 11 years, and and it's been wonderful 11 years, and we have 4 kids together. But in the midst of life, Tyler and I are both very caring, loving individuals.
Yeah.
And we've had some, tragic things happen in the past few years with our family, and we have been blessed to be able to caretake for some of our nieces. So 4 nieces that we have gained as our little bonus babies.
Wow, awesome.
Aging from 18, she just turned 18, is in college, down to she just turned 1. On the 17th.
That's a big spectrum. Man.
She was a preemie baby. She was, unfortunately born with crystal meth in her system.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be some delays, but you know what? we're blessed to have her.
Yeah.
And what we've learned too is, yes, while she is going to have some delays, the environment that you're in is going to also dictate how you're going to grow.
Come on.
And so the healthy environment that we are providing for her is honestly catapulting her into a different like lifestyle that she would have had been in, right?
Yeah.
And so that has a lot to do with it. And we've just been blessed. She has blessed us more, I think, than we've blessed her. To
Yeah.
be honest. But
Little Ray Ray.
Little Ray
Oh,
Ray.
Ray Ray.
Aria Ray, so she got to name her, and she
I
did.
did.
Her middle name is Ray, so she named
I
her.
named her.
Oh, okay, okay. Got your little junior running around here. Okay. I see you. I see you. That's crazy, man. Well, Kendrick,
beautiful.
that's beautiful. Like, I mean, that's just kind of crazy because we kind of did the same thing. I mean, I guess like we're a blended family. So I had a daughter already when me and my wife got together, and she kind of like just took her on and just said, "What's yours is
Our
mine."
teen now.
Our teen now, our 16-year-old. Yeah, man. And she also has an older sister, 19, Akira. You know what I'm saying? That's our baby too, our oldest one. She made me a what am I called? I'm called G-Paw now. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause she has a baby, man. Jamir is 1 now, a little over 1. So yeah.
Chunky self.
Yeah, no, G-Paw. G-Paw, see, man, you messed it up, man. It's G-Paw, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still 35, man. When I get 40, I'll be grandpa, man. But you know, yeah.
When you get 40, you're not going to be.
You're right. You're probably right, man. But and then we also, we had her older brother with us for a while too.
Yeah.
And then also your niece as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow,
So we
just
did the
reflecting
foster care
back.
thing as well.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I
It's
didn't,
like-
but as he was talking, I was like, man, we took on 2 of them too. You know what I'm saying? Foster care. I was like, never thought you would do foster care, but it's like you never know what, kind of like how life goes and what God has planned, man. But it definitely was a blessing for us, and I learned a lot, man. Especially having a teenage boy in the house, and it made me have more of an appreciation for my parents. I was like, oh man, what?
You were reflecting back on them stories.
I reflected back like, Mom, Dad, I thank y'all, man. Because this is crazy. I got one of them in here now, man. I'm like, why is everything going out the fridge? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Why are you eating at like 1 o'clock in the morning? Like, bro, man. So, yeah.
Messing up our grocery budget.
Yeah. I'm used to this amount of money right here, man. Like, now, okay, this is like a bill. Yeah, man. So I get it, man. Love it, man. So just so awesome to have you guys, man. Thank y'all for taking the time to come, man. And so, man, we're going to hop into the money issue.
Yes.
The money issue. So you want to introduce the topic and get to our first question? You going to kick us off?
Yeah, well, we already introduced the topic.
Got you.
But one thing we want to start with that I feel like is important is just kind of reflecting back. Like when you were growing up, how was the money handled?
Right.
What did you see when it came to your parents or your family? How was the money handled in your household?
Right.
From your view as a child?
Yeah. So I would say this is like the foundation of what I look and reflect back on why am I like this with money?
Wow.
I used to question myself, right? Because I was like, when I was receiving money, the abundance of money, I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And I think growing up, we grew up, both of us, in poverty. And so we never, hearing my parents talk about money, it was never, we have so much money. It was always, we don't have money, right? And so that was my foundation. We don't have money. And so as I grew up and understanding, when I went out into the workforce and started receiving money, and then all of a sudden, creditors are reaching out wanting to give me money.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a 10% interest. Don't know what that is, but awesome. You're going to give me $1,000. I'll take it. I'll use it. I just have to make $30 a payment a month. Awesome. And so I started to take all this money because I didn't have any role models or anyone that even had credit. My family was that, in poverty, that creditors didn't reach out. They were reaching out. They were always denied, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that this was a possibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which actually set me up for failure. Too.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, you're like MasterCard, Visa, Discover, all of them. I said yes to all.
Hey, just everybody. Yes, you, and you too. Yeah, come on.
You want me, I want you.
Yep.
Let's go. And so, as I started working, I started receiving a paycheck. I was like, okay, so this is a bill, I'll pay it. Then life happened. Oh, wait, I have to live on my own. Okay, cool. Okay, that's rent. I didn't even know how to budget.
Wow.
I was just honestly just spending to find out once I paid everything, I was like left with $20. How am I going to eat with $20?
Yeah, right.
And so it took a lot of, for me, self-reflecting, but self-taught on how do I manage my money? Because I do not know how to. And so I started just working very hard in my career to make more money. I was like, okay, if I work harder, I'm going to grow up the corporate ladder.
Right.
I'm going to get more money. But what I found is, if you don't have that foundation of knowing how to manage your money, you're going to mismanage it the whole time.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It don't
the more
matter.
money I made, the more money I spent.
Yeah.
So it never was like, I never had that moment where I'm like, oh, wait, that's not adding up.
Yeah.
But it was adding up for me is I could buy more and I could spend more because I'm making more.
Yeah.
Right? And so my foundation of understanding, it was more, I didn't have any clue of what managing money was.
Wow.
So that's what I saw, and that's honestly what I repeated, but in a different way. I repeated, instead of with the scarcity of not having, I was repeating it with the abundance of having. And still like living, like my parents, I was broke. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm broke even though I'm making X amount of dollars. I'm still broke.
And then you find yourself, oh, I'm making more money, but you're like, why do I still feel broke?
Yes.
And it's the management piece.
The management piece. Absolutely.
The management piece. That's crazy. Yeah. Because you think about it sometimes when we'd be like, man, such and such, or this person here was like a millionaire. How can they be bankrupt? How could they be like broke or whatnot? But I think it goes back to, like you said, like never learning the management piece of it. And I think now that I'm looking at the topic, like sometimes it's not really like so much about a money issue. Sometimes it's a discipline or a budget issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but when you don't have a lot, you feel like, oh, there's no need for me to really learn how to budget because I don't really have that much. That's kind of like the context we kind of came from a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. So like your context, like growing up, you know what I'm saying? What was like your money context as far as like, you know, your upbringing?
Man, I talk about this quite a bit, honestly, especially when I'm working with like young folks that are trying to navigate it.
Yeah.
I think they're, especially in the educational sector.
Yeah.
We talk about find passion, find purpose, and everything's going to work out. But financially, you can't pay for your bills with passion and purpose.
Come on, man.
The reality is bread matters, money matters.
Yep.
And the more you have, the more resources and opportunities you have to help other people. Because some people say like, you know, I was growing up like money didn't matter, so like, you know, I don't really care about money that much. And it's like, well, that's kind of selfish because there's a lot of people that need money. So why don't you use your gifts and your skills to create money and just give it away?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I grew up. It was like, we grew up with a lot of love. So like my wife did say, she's the oldest of 11. She didn't tell you yet, but she sure probably lived. She grew up on the island of Guam, which there's a lot of different challenges and barriers out there. You know, I mean, we grew up together. So I grew up here in Northeast Portland.
Yep.
And but prior to moving here to Portland, I was living in Eastern Oregon with my mother, and that's when we were on Section 8 welfare. You know, it was a pretty dire situation. And so my sister, you know, shout out to my sister Melissa May, who just passed last year. She was like a second mom, helped raise me. And so we didn't know what money looked like. All I know is my mom would give me the food stamps, right? Like kids don't understand these things.
Man.
No, they don't, bro. They
You
don't.
come in your hand and you ain't no embarrassment.
Yep.
I had brown stamps.
Yep.
And she'd send me this stuff like, Mom, I ain't talking to the store with you. You know, and I didn't really know we was broke until I went over to one of my homies' house.
Yeah. Wow.
Had hella snacks.
Yeah.
Oh, you got food?
Just got toast and sugar bread. So it was, I didn't really realize it. So I think I always had an appreciation and I was grateful for it, but I never really had it. So like Nish said, as I got older, I didn't climb the corporate ladder. Like I said, I was in the nonprofit world. I was in the educational sector. So I was broke. You know what I mean? Like when we first met, I was probably making like $32,000 a year. I was 26 years old, had a college degree. You know, she went to 2-year school, got her degree in accounting and finances, and she was making probably like $90,000.
Yeah. Wow.
And so smoking me financially.
Well, wow.
Right? So I'm just
Wow.
grateful that she still stayed.
I'm about to say, man. I mean, I don't want to sidebar that, man. But did you ever deal with feelings of maybe I don't feel so much like either the man or the breadwinner? Did you ever struggle with any of that mentality or
I think she did a great job of just of allowing me to be me and kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And so really when I met her is when I transitioned my whole life, honestly, bro. Like,
Come on.
25 years old, single, doing a room share, didn't own any furniture, nothing.
Yeah.
Had a dog, pretty much.
He said, I came with a dog, man.
And so she helped me just step up my mindset and just to realize like the potential that I had. And so I started venturing out and doing different things, like different side hustles, different things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And then money started. I started attracting money because I think my relationship with money is I definitely know it's important, but I'm not tripping when I lose it.
Come
so
on.
Like when the pandemic hit, I had about 7 contracts that equaled it was about roughly about 50,000-60,000 in contracts that all got canceled.
Wow.
And I was of the mindset, okay, dang, this sucks because that's money we're missing. But I still have a job. I still got a decent income here.
Yeah.
My wife's job is still good. Let me just go serve on people and let opportunities come. And since then, I've probably had triple the contracts.
Wow.
And things that have came because I just don't have a scarcity, like my wife said, a scarcity mindset of money. I have an abundance mindset. Like if I lose something, I know it's going to come back to me.
Bruh.
And I think that when you, and I think that just came from not having it. So being grateful for when I do get it. I still don't know, all the ways on budgeting, and we're trying to figure all that out, paying off all our debts and everything. So we're still trying to navigate it, man. But I'm just grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I had the upbringing that I had, where it was a lot of struggle, a lot of challenge. So when I do have it, now I realize how much of a resource it can be to me, my family, and other folks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Like having that like space and freedom to kind of like figure that out as far as like passions or whatnot. And I had to ask the question because how sometimes like in our society or whatnot, man, breadwinner, and feel like you got to make this a certain amount of money and stuff like that. And so like
There's definitely those feelings.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
There might have been a couple of slights sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, man, why every day is a delivery man coming from Amazon?
Yeah.
You look at me like, I'm making about 75.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
What's your problem, man?
I can't really say that. I can't really say that.
Bro, man, that's crazy, man. It's like even like for like us, we didn't both like have like full-time job or full-time like income until like the last 3 or 4 years. Like we both were.
Well, I've been at my job for about 4.
So 4 years.
Yeah, but you've been at your job like 6 years.
7. Yeah, but I'm talking about both at the same time.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's just the last 4
last
years. So
yeah.
like she was going to school, then I was working, then I went to school while she was working.
And you're working on Lifted.
And I was doing like full-time ministry and music.
Yeah.
So she was letting me do that, you know what I'm saying, during that time.
You
said what? Letting, oh yeah, I'm saying. Okay, well.
The fact that you said, but no, I understand why you said that because we had to have,
Yes.
we had to have a conversation about that. Like, okay, this is what you want to do. I said, this is what you want to do. Like, you need to be doing it. Like, ain't no way I'm going to school and going to work or whatever, and then you just sitting at home. Like, nah, you having meetings. You having, you going. There will be times when I've been like, okay, so you doing full-time ministry. There was a musical like last night, and you could have went to the musical.
Yeah,
or you could have went. There was a youth conference. You could have went there. Like,
Yep.
like just thinking of different ways of like, okay, don't let you. Because sometimes when you're passionate about something, but you're not really making a lot of money on it, and you're building something, you can get kind of depressed if things aren't just happening. So it's just like, no, man, like you can create some opportunities, do what you're supposed to do, whatever God is calling you to do, but work in it. Like, don't get discouraged. So I think that was just something that we had to talk about ahead of time, and then just like me saying like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff. I don't want to see you just sitting at home. Like we ain't doing that whether you going to school or not. And then there was a point where I was like, okay, well, it's been like 2 years. Going to be going back to school.
Yep, she gave me a deadline. She said, I'm going back to school.
Yeah, it was like February, and I said August.
August, you got till August.
Yeah,
and so
to find a job.
To find a job, to freaking, I said, okay, all right. So then I found the place where I'm actually like working at now. And so like, so then I did that, and then she went back to school. This is like the last, 4 years you said?
Yeah.
That's the only time we've been married, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And only 4 of the years have we both had like,
full-time
or steady income together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is the first. Yeah, we've been doing the create.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Can I say one quick thing?
Yeah.
Because I forgot I wanted to say it. So when I talked about passion and purpose, I think the biggest thing is that like I realized like okay, passion and purpose is solid. You need to start. That's the foundation you build from. I have no idea why people do things they're not passionate about, or they do things that are not serving a purpose.
Yeah.
We all know that like you're not going to be invested in that work long term.
Yeah.
True.
So
You
what
gonna
you
burn
have
out.
to figure out though too is what kind of lifestyle does it provide? And so for me, I looked at it like, and lifestyle is not just money, it comes to like the environment. So like, what kind of culture am I working in? This organization, identifying with like my values and how I like to get down. But then also like, what's the potential money that I can make? And so for me, you know, working a typical, you know, 9 to 5, I loved the work, passion and purpose, but I knew there was a glass ceiling.
Yep.
I mean, like I started off at whatever, this base salary, and I maybe got like, since the last 5 years, like a $7,000 raise since then. I'm like, hey bro, like $250 a month ain't changing my life.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like, how can I create something where I can live passion, live purpose, but the income potential is really unlimited. You know
True.
what I mean? And I'm gonna get paid for the value that I bring to the situation, not paid for the hour that I work.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when I started thinking like that, I was about like 29 maybe, and so I'm 30. I just turned 37, so it's been a long time coming. But anyway, the biggest thing is I just like folks really to figure out what kind of lifestyle is what you choose to do as a career provide for you, environment and money wise.
Right.
And when you figure that out, I think we have a lot more happier people, and people not flipping you off when they're driving by and they're trying to go to work.
Well, yeah. They so mad.
You so mad?
Yeah.
It's like, we gotta-
Yeah. No, I love that, bro.
Off my soapbox.
No, you know, stay on it, man. I take nuggets, bro. So like, I just heard you say like paid for the value I bring to the situation, not just for the hour. Like that is amazing, man. And I think what happens, because one of the top like leading reasons for like divorce or whatever is people don't know or learn how to handle or even breakups in relationships. People don't never learn how to handle like the money issue. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't talk about it at all. No
Or there's a
communication.
different power dynamic, and one person feels inferior, or they don't know what to do, and then something happens, and there's a blow up. You know, it's just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then they break up, and they never even come to the table to talk about what the real issues were.
Yeah. So like, how do you guys deal with like the different like perspectives? Like, because you guys grew up in like different like contexts a little bit. You know what I'm saying? There are some differences or whatever. So like, when you guys had like you know, financial conflicts as like, okay, this can either affect our relationship or our marriage or how I feel about you guys, like how do you walk through that, or how do you guys like, you know, deal with that, you know?
I think so about 28, so I was 28, so it's 9 years ago, we got some mentors, got into like some network marketing stuff, which like I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, if you haven't tried network marketing, you really ain't an entrepreneur yet. Like everybody needs to try that.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to figure it out. But they really helped us understand, like sat down with us to talk about our finances. Because the reality was we just weren't looking at it.
Right.
You know, we were just like, oh, deposit would get, you know, put in the bank, and then we pay our bills, and then like, oh, we still got like $2,000 in there, okay? But really you don't. 'Cause what if the car breaks down? What if the kids need something?
Yep.
This and that. And so we just were getting behind it. And I think my perspective was I was more of a more conservative and more saving, and she was a spender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like to spend
feel you.
too, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously, like again, when for the majority of our relationship, she was the breadwinner, making way more, considerably more money
Yeah.
than I was making.
Yeah.
So she's used to spending.
So she's used
Yeah.
to spending. She's
Yeah.
used to having. She's used to living that kind of lifestyle.
Wow.
So that was, I think, so for us, it was just like I would get frustrated, right? Like delivery dude, all these Amazon packages, looking at our like we'd said you have your variable expenses and you have your fixed income, and it's like, well, we got to stay within these variables, but now we're outside of that, and then like, you know, I had like 3 gym memberships at one time, so she's like, why? It's like, 'cause that's what I value, like the good weights at LA Fitness. And then I'm doing CrossFit. And so, but then she got shoe subscriptions and all that. It was just this constant because we just never sat down and really hashed it out. But like I said, when we got some good mentors in our life who helped us realize, like, you guys are having a lot more month than money.
Yeah.
You like put yourself in a situation where you know you have something, you have some emergency fund.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're paying off debt, snowball it. Like we took some Dave Ramsey courses. And doing the snowball effect, which really helped us and worked for us. So we just weren't having these conversations for the first 5 years of our relationship.
Right.
Wow.
We were just kind of like under the rug, whatever.
Yes.
Blow ups would happen. We'd stay together because we're both stubborn and we love each other.
Hey, right.
Nobody going nowhere.
Ain't nobody going nowhere.
I'm mad.
Yeah. We're gonna be mad in different corners of the house.
So about 6 years ago, we started having open conversations about that. I will just send this because I know she's going to speak here.
Right.
She's definitely the person who pays the bills because she's really great at that, has it all synced up, and tracks the money. but I'm better at like dictating, like we have all this extra money, like
Setting
knowing
the
where this
goals.
money should go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's sitting there and it's like, no, this needs to be, let's go pay off this, let's pay off this, let's pay off this, let's
Right.
save this.
Yeah.
And so we're getting much better at coming together on that, but we're still
Yes,
working on it.
absolutely. And then, thank you for sharing that. But to bring it back to where before we had the mentorship,
Yeah.
I was always the one that I was so like strategic in how I paid bills, right?
Yeah.
And so every 2 weeks I knew I got paid. He got paid monthly, but every 2 weeks I knew I got paid. So I was good at navigating. This is first paycheck, this is what's going to it. Second paycheck, this is what's going to it. And then we made the mistake, and I say it's a mistake because we just didn't know. I was like, do you have your own checking account? I have my own checking account. Why don't we just merge accounts?
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake I could have made.
At that time. Okay.
Because we didn't realize how you guys spend money differently and how you manage
Oh
it.
wow. That
You
set
guys,
yourself up. Okay.
When it say it got ugly, it got ugly.
Yeah.
Because we were.
Look, he
was
got to
like,
drink some water.
Let's talk about
He'll
this.
start sweating.
Okay, let's talk about this because I think a lot of couples too, when they're like they know that they're in this for the long
Yeah.
run, they say, "Why are we not living together? And why are we not doing this?" And so we did that. We moved in together. I would like write out all the bills. I'm like, okay, half of this and half of this. This is what you owe me, and then I would put it in my account and do it. I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just put it together. We put it together.
No plan.
Terrible. It was terrible. So we had the same login account, everything. I'm like, okay, bills. I knew in my mind. I didn't communicate this with him though. That was where I messed up too. Cause I was like, okay, we have this amount of money coming out for bills.
Yeah.
I knew that. He didn't know that. So he would log into the account and be like, oh, we have money. Swipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? And he's like, what? I think that was when I realized what my role in this relationship was.
Yeah.
I'm very good at my budget.
Oh.
I'm good at that.
Okay.
When somebody else comes in and we're commingling funds, I don't know how to handle that.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so when I realized that, and and then his mindset too, like, oh my gosh, we're putting our monies together. I have more money now because her money is my money.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, okay. And so we quickly shifted. After it was a few months when I was like, okay, this is not working.
Wow. After a few months, like it didn't take long.
It
Okay.
did not take long. This is absolutely not working. Get out of my account.
Yeah.
And then we went back to what we knew. And even when we go back to what we knew was he was still handling his money, I was still handling my money. It worked well, but there was still those conversations, or there was still those, I would say like pivotal moments where for me it was enlightening because I didn't realize what my relationship with money was.
Wow.
And he enlightened me in realizing, wow, yes, we have money. We have a life. Like if we want to be together,
Yeah.
what is our savings going to look like?
Wow.
I never looked at price tags. That was terrible. I never looked at price tags. And I think, I dug deep and I was like, why am I like this?
Yeah.
And then it's going back to when I was younger. Not having or not being able just to go to a store and not look at price tags, I went a full 180, and
All
I'm
the
like,
way.
I'm not going to live that life.
Yep.
My goal was to not be in the predicament that my parents were or my grandparents were, right? I wanted to stop that generational poverty,
Yep.
and I wanted to create wealth. But I was going about it all the wrong ways.
Okay.
I thought I could do it. And so when he came into my life, and I realized I just had a really horrible relationship with money, he enlightened me a lot on saving. I had no idea what savings was. I was
Right.
like, oh, we should. For emergencies. Like if emergency happens, I usually was like, I just open up another credit card. That's
Wow.
what emergencies was.
That's what an emergency is. Oh, wow.
And that was
Wow.
like I would, and even I think going into, you guys, it got really bad where I was opening up credit cards in his name
Wow.
for us.
Can you send me that code?
Your cell phone. Hey, what's that code that just somebody just sent you a code? Just let me know.
Oh my gosh,
what?
I was like,
What's your social security number again?
right? I knew his, so I was like, I knew all of it.
All these questions.
And I was like, I got credit card, right? He was like, what? I was like, you're the main user and I'm an authorized user. But it's ours. And so, I mean, that was wrong.
Wow.
But that's when I knew, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I have a problem.
Yeah.
I absolutely have a spending problem. I was in that mindset of, it will come back to me. Just kind of similar, but very different perspectives.
Right.
And so, fast forward to meeting these mentors and having them sit down with us, bias on our relationship and bias on his spending and my spending habits. It really was, for me, the moment where I could be like, okay, I can make a change. I can do this. But it has to happen internally, right? I have to make that. I had to make that sacrifice of, not buying everything. Like, when I wanted something, it was like, I would just go get it. It was retail therapy.
Yeah.
But then that also was rooted in other things. Like, why do I do this? I constantly was asking, like, why am I like this? Why?
Yeah.
And even with our children, like, it's still, with me, like, when they want something, I just buy it. And it was because I didn't have that. I was like, I want to give them what I, like, if I go to the store, I never would be able to grab a candy bar. When they go to the store, I'm like, and they grab it, Mommy, can I? Yes. It's always, yes. I don't even know what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
You get it.
Please ask.
Please. Because I want to give it to you because I never had it and I was trying
Yeah,
to
man.
in all the wrong ways because I no guidance, no mentorship, and then he was very much the one that was like, no. Like, we go to the store together.
No problem.
I love it.
Sound like somebody I know.
Yes. And I hate going shopping with him. I was like, I'm not going shopping.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not going shopping.
I would say it's not the biggest thing is like that. It's like, I was talking to a student the other day, and they were really mature for their perspective when you're talking about money. I asked about success. They talked about money. So like, I want to be able to, like, when I have my kids, like, go to the store and have money, but but to make the decision, like, I could say yes or no. It's not because I can't buy this. It's because I need this or I don't want to buy this.
Yeah.
Right.
Having the
And that's where we're
discipline.
at. So it's like when she was doing, we had the money to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't want to
Yeah.
give the kids the perspective that they can just get whatever they want, especially our
Yes.
little daughter.
Yeah.
She's spoiled.
Yeah.
She's wild.
Yeah. But just to wrap this part up, that the mentorship piece and the Dave Ramsey courses really assisted us in honestly becoming okay with having different perspectives, but
Yeah.
also coming to the table like, here's the why that I feel like I need to buy this.
Yeah.
Right? And then communicating. I think the biggest part that's always missed in marriages too when it comes to finances, which we experienced early on, and not even when we were married, is before we were married in our early relationship, was we just didn't talk about it because I think we knew that if we did talk about it,
Wow.
it wasn't going to be good.
Wow. So trying to
Yeah.
avoid it,
Avoid
trying to avoid it.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love each other so much.
Yep.
This one thing I know could probably break us.
Wow.
Because we're so stubborn.
Wow.
And we're so strong on our views.
Yeah.
So why bring something
Why
up?
mess it up?
Sensitive subject.
Why it's sensitive.
Even though you have to deal with it every
Yeah.
time something comes out of the account for a
Every
bill.
time.
Like,
You have to deal
and
with
at
it.
that point, it's like I'd rather deal with that, like coming up every now and again, than us like sitting down and actually hammering that stuff
And
out.
the demons, like
Yeah.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
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 And so that mentorship was golden in, I wouldn't say it saved our marriage. I think it just helped us
Yeah.
understand each other a little bit more too.
Yeah.
And the money.
And the money.
Yeah.
The money.
The money.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it was. We didn't have an actual mentor, but just watching our pastors. I mean, they talked about like living in abundance and
Yep.
and having faith and things like that. So I think that really sitting under them and observing them taught us a lot as well.
Yeah.
When it came to money
Mentors.
management. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think there was something that you mentioned before about when Apostle Lady V went to Chicago.
Yeah, man. So we were in Chicago, and I was really tight with the money, man. Especially, and it's funny, right? Because like when I felt like, because we never were, like I told you guys, like having steady income at the same time, like I felt like when she was working, like she was a lot more like conscious about the money and spending or whatever, right? And I felt like when I had the job or whatever, she just was like, I fill up the tank and I go get a bunch of food and I just do this because we need it. It's all good. I said, well, wait a minute, like when it was
That's what he thinks that's just my normal. I'm not gonna go to the gas station and put in $10.
Oh,
I'm gonna fill up the tank. I'm not coming back to the gas station 3 times a week. I'm not doing that. So But for him, he don't care. Like, give me $20. I'm like, we have like a huge car. Like, and then 3 days later, I'm taking the car back.
Yes.
That's the first sign of
8 miles.
Bro.
It's really 40.
It's really.
Obviously, to this day, there's still,
I do.
I
don't
just
know.
filled up the tank the other day. Actually,
She did.
It had 6 miles on it.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Like this. That could get you. That could get you. You're good. You're good for like 20 miles. On that.
Thank you. I know, bro. I know.
That's it.
I'll be like, no, I said we'd be good to get there and get back. Like, but I'm like,
But
and I used to
why?
get irritated. She would get into the car and like, she's the passenger. Like, she gets into the car and I feel like she's like looking over to see what it said. I'm like, and she's like, oh. And I'm just like, why are you even looking over here? Like, I'm the driver. I got us. Where we going? You know what I'm saying? But it just irritates her. That's her thing. Like, and she told me before. She said it just makes me feel broke.
Yes.
If it's under a quarter or a half, like it makes me feel like
But yeah, and I think it also has to do. I mean, this is like a deeper thing, but of like being prepared. And like when things happen, like, oh man, I should have done this. If I was prepared and had this and this done ahead of time, then I wouldn't be dealing with this now. So I think in general, that's how I think. I try to think of as much as I can before it happens. So the day of or before it happens, I know this is what I'm wearing, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing my hair, this is what, you know what I mean? Like everything is, so that spills over into events we plan, that spills over into how we manage our life. So it's just me in general. So learning how to, when we started with the, I'm putting more money in the account than you are, I'm managing, because we switched from me managing to you managing. And so it's like, wait a minute, this is how you do it? Well, we got to make some changes.
Yeah.
But back to Chicago.
So So basically, like, because I hear you guys talking about, it's like the mentorship piece or whatnot. And I know for us, like our pastors, like our basically like our godparents, that they were that for us. And so just watching them and how they, manage their properties, manage their, their bank accounts, how they were with each other within the context of their marriage, their communication.
And traveling.
And you know what I'm saying? And so, like, those are things, like, we were just, like, looking at and just observing. And I remember one time we were in Chicago and we were going to, like, a retail store or something like that. And Lady V was just like, oh, yeah, give me your card. And he just gave her his card. And and she just went into the store, and then like they were in there for like a while. Like they were in there, me and him are just in the car, and I'm just like, man, he just gave her his card. Like, he not calling to see like they've been in there for like an hour. You know what I'm saying? So like me.
He didn't give her a budget.
He didn't give her a budget. I didn't
He always
see.
give me a budget.
Well, I'm saying he didn't have no conversation, man. He just gave her the card and let her walk in there. I'm like, man, what's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, you nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous. It ain't even my money. I'm just like, man, you ain't nervous? I'm nervous in there, you know what I'm saying? Because even I'm in there still texting bros like, oh yeah, what you getting? You know what I'm saying? Even though it's her card, right? I'm still asking her what she's spending. But he gave her his card.
I usually tell you, okay, this is what.
Bro, I was tripping, man. And so like, but just on how you you had that communication or whatnot. And so we were in like Texas about like 2 or 3 years ago.
Depending on what story.
I forgot what it was.
We went to Texas like 3 times.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we were in Texas and we were in some type of shoe store, and I remember just giving her my card or whatever. And it's not saying that. And then we come back like to the car, and I was like, oh man, I didn't even notice that I gave her my card. Didn't even ask her what the budget was. You know what I'm saying? I just, the way that the level we were at now was like either I trust you, and also like what she wants, she can just get. You know what I'm saying? And so like that was different for us, but it also showed me the power in mentorship. You know what I'm saying? How you begin to model what it is that not only just is told to you, but what you were able to like see, what has been mapped out, and then you figure out how does that work for our context. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to take every little thing and be a copycat, right? But it's like what works for your context. And so that was one of the things for me, like, okay, it was a piece in like, okay, I trust you, and I want you to be able to get what you get. But I didn't even notice it until we got back to the car. I'm thinking like, oh, I didn't even look at the receipt. You know what I'm saying? And that was different for me.
That is different for you.
That was different for me. You know what I'm saying? I check receipts, man. It could be the grocery store.
Oh, how much did you spend? I'm like, I don't know. I remember the prices of individual things because I want to get the best deal. Yeah. But then when it all adds up, I don't remember that. I went to 5 stores. And
I used to get
that
frustrated.
That was $80 and that was $90.
I used to get frustrated.
I don't know. So he was like, how much did you spend today? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you not know?
I'm like, how do you not know? Like, even when I'm at the grocery store and we got a big basket full of stuff, I can pretty much be in the about $20 to $40 range of knowing how much it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I said, how much is supposed to go to? I don't know.
I have $200 in the account. I know this ain't $200.
See, no.
So no. No.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
I
not
was
spending
different,
$200
man.
worth of groceries. I'll probably get like $50. I don't know the exact amount, but I know that I'm
Right.
not going over what's in my account.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, you know the
yes.
cap, but yeah, that's what I see as like that power of like mentorship, finding mentors, and then being able to find examples, and then figuring out how that stuff kind of like fits into like your context. Or
And I
whatnot.
think talking about it too, because sometimes like I think you mentioned before about not wanting to talk about it because it felt a little scary or like why would we ruffle feathers? I know this is kind of a hard discussion for us, but I think actually sitting down and talking about it, because then you can learn those different things about your spouse and your
Yes.
partner, and you can kind of figure those things out. Okay, if we have a plan and we agree to it, let's try this.
Yes.
Next month or 3 months, we'll come back to the table. Okay, what do we need to tweak?
Right.
What didn't work? Because then that helps with the tension as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did want to touch on a point, like, it's about, like, because I heard you guys talk about it too, it's like the kid thing. You know what I'm saying? We all got
Yes.
children, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
And so, like, and we know how we grew up, right? And, like, I got some feelings that I have, but I want to definitely hear from you guys, like, as far as, like, y'all context for growing up, but now you have your kids, and it's just like, okay, what pitfalls or what type of opportunities or things that do you want to give to them that maybe, like, you guys didn't have, or like what type of things you would want them to like avoid, or like what
Right.
money perspectives, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think I'll talk big picture about our plans for not having generational poverty happen again and building on that wealth. And
Yeah.
then he'll talk about the daily of how we are instilling in our children
Yeah.
money management and just the value of things. I think that that's what the thing is when, and I'll have you talk about this, but when we go out to eat, there's a lot of us. How much, asking our children, how much do you think this costs? Showing them. Yeah, showing them. Stop it.
You see?
Stop asking me for drinks.
See? I wish my teenager was able to hear, because she sits down like queen, like, iced tea, please.
Yes, yes.
But she's been learning because you've been telling her she doesn't eat all her food, and you tell her you're gonna pay me for this.
Yeah.
And so now she knows. Oh, I didn't eat all my food. Okay, Dad, I'll cash up you $17 for my food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's starting to recognize
Yeah.
that.
Yes, beautiful. So I think what I want to give to my children is what we didn't have was, we're just repeating the cycle that our parents were in, right? Especially for me, like just spending all the money and still living paycheck to paycheck. How do I stop that? How do I stop that bleeding? And so when we were sitting down and just reflecting, and me just thinking big picture, yes, there's the 401k that we can invest in, yes, but what can we do for our children? Because for us, once they turn 18, a lot of adults, as they turn into adults, they go to college, go find a good job, and then make your way, get your own apartment, get all of that, right? You figure it out for you as an adult.
Right.
While I do want to teach our children that you need to earn things and work hard for things, I also don't want them to have to start over.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Come
that's
on.
not fair. Like, that's what we all did.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
working.
Yeah.
So how do we change that? And so we had this conversation. Obviously, our family has grown, so we're still on the 4 is what we're still agreeing on. But each child, we are going to invest in. I'm going to buy a property. I'll hold the property. Like, we're going to buy it in the next 4 years. We'll buy 4 houses. We'll take care of it. We'll rent it out. We'll do all of that right now. When they turn 18, depending on the decisions they make, are you going to go to college? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Here's a house. Use this. Sell it. Pay for your college. Or you can go in it, invest in it. You can have that as your home to make you some income while you're going to college, going to work, doing whatever, or move into it.
Yeah.
You have something to start off. Like, I'm not in the belief anymore of having our children start from the bottom.
Wow.
It's not fair.
No.
Right? Like,
No.
and I wish I was given this opportunity. So it's like, why not me? Why not be that one that's
Yeah.
going to change it for our family tree? It's going to
Yeah.
take one of us. Here we are. So that's what we're doing is we're going to gift our children this house, because that's one that, we can be earning everything on it right now, but then gifting it to them so that they
Yeah.
can make their decision.
Yeah.
Will they have to work for it? Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
just not like, oh, my mom's giving me a house, or don't boast about it. You're going to work for this.
Yeah.
It's not going to, I could easily take it away. Or I won't give it to you if I don't feel like you're deserving of it. However, that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
Is what I
Yeah.
learned from the past and not bring it into our future.
Wow.
Right. And so that's actually just like amazing, right?
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is like the way that you look at generational like wealth or whatever is one of the ways of doing that is, because that's one of our questions later on, but like we can get into it now as far as like property, building up that equity it's kind of like how you are going to
Pass on some generational.
pass on generational
Yeah.
wealth to your children
Yes.
or whatnot. So
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's dope. Yeah. I know, one of the ways that we have talked about and thought about is, oh yeah, I would love to like either you're gonna choose a college fund or I give you a down payment for a home, whatever. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Let me know which one. I think one of the ways that I did in our big picture was, and I think I've shared with you a little bit about it. Like I have them like an Acorns account or whatnot.
Oh yeah, investments.
And investment accounts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So like I'm doing that for each of the kids or whatnot. And so like really, because I was like, man, nobody taught me about EFTs when we were, coming up. I didn't even know what that was, or like I didn't know anything about the financial like world, and still feel like a novice, right? But especially going through our recent homeowner process, it was like, oh no, oh thank you, oh yeah. That was like, oh man, that's a heavyweight fight, man.
The
Man.
emotional ups and downs.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, doing nerve wracking and stuff like that, and like, man, coming through your finances with a fine tooth comb. It's like, man, I'm
Yeah.
not a racketeer or embezzling money, but man, they make you feel like it sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Like, where'd you get this money from? My mama. Where your mama get it from? You know what I'm saying? Her job. Where she work at?
yeah,
but,
like we're drug dealers or something. God.
Right.
Man.
But yeah, property I think is one of the ways that I think is really one of the ways to really build generational wealth, man. Especially if you can get property here where we're from in the Northwest Oregon, like that equity, man. Even within, we've been in our house about like 2 or 3 months, man. I'm looking at this like, man, why did I wait so, long?
We didn't wait. We worked
didn't
on
wait.
it.
We was
Yeah.
working on it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is the bag, man. One of the ways that really give them a jump start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's just dope. When you were just talking about the property piece, I'm like, that's just
Yeah.
it's just almost like a no-brainer. If if you can do it, this that mentality to pass down to them. So
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
I definitely want to highlight that, man. But like, yeah, get. But I also looked at like savings accounts, but then I just like that just didn't make no sense to me.
Yeah.
And there ain't no interest on it. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, no. No, this is like a waste of. But when we were coming up, that's all they told us. Like if you were lucky, your parents told you, oh yeah, there's a savings account, and then like everything will be great. And it's like, it ain't doing nothing for you.
Right.
I tell you, I really would encourage folks to understand the power of producing money versus the power of saving money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I value the being able to generate and create versus saving, because like, think about it like this. Like in the work that I do, right? Let's say, whatever, an organization wants me to bring me in, come speak, do a keynote, say I'm going to charge $3,500 for this.
Yeah.
That's 90 minutes, $3,500, okay? Let's say I want to save $3,500. Like, okay, say I'm saving a few $100 a month, that's going to take me 6-8 months. Like, that doesn't mean I shouldn't still save.
Right.
But I think a lot of people aren't using their gifts and their talents and their abilities to produce money.
Right.
So like, there's so much more power in the ability to create
Yeah.
than there is to save, because you can only save so much because you have all these other bills and all these other things.
Yeah.
So why are you putting so much energy? I see so many people so much energy and focus into saving instead of like, well, how can I go out here and hustle and not hustle? And sometimes there's a good bad connotation.
Right.
Right. I know what you mean,
And,
though.
and do what I need to do to be able to provide. So like my wife was saying, so she really grew up in poverty, like real low. Like I did too until I was about 12. Then I moved to Portland, and my dad was a car salesman. He was making decent money doing that. And my stepmother, she worked for Kaiser. So we had 2 household incomes, but you still got 6 kids, teenagers. And so
Yeah.
we didn't have an abundance of money, but what I love about what they taught me was, what we try to teach our kids too, is we want to have experiences. So we don't want to accumulate a lot of things, right? Like,
Come on, man.
I'm not trying to buy. You don't need this. You don't need that. Let's go to the beach. Let's go. We
Right.
always go to the beach. We always do little trips, like road trips. Like my dad was scared of flying, just kind of like, all right, so we never get on planes.
Right.
So we can take road trips. We go places, and we go to dinners, and we have barbecues and all that.
Okay.
So they spend a lot of their money. So they taught me like how to love and how to be around family.
Yeah.
And understand that, but they never taught me. I never learned how, like you said, like I didn't know anything about the finance world. I didn't know anything about trying to build wealth. We just got our house when we was 36. Well, I was 36, she was 35. We bought our house, and we realized we could have bought it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, cause I just had a homie, and he was just like, I was in this like leadership thing with him, and He's person that like the banking person for
The lenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, one of those people.
Loan officer.
Mortgage lender, yeah.
I was like, man, we really looking to buy a home. He's like, all right, well, I'll give you a call. We'll talk about it. He asked me about 10 questions, and he calls me back. I said, well, you've been approved for such and such. I said, what?
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
That's all it took? I was like, hey, we've been approved. And so we went and started looking, and, we bought right before, like, it got real wild. So about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
We didn't get the house at first, and then other people backed out because of COVID, and they felt like, they were nervous about everything. But like, when we got this house, it's like, and you understand, like, when it's yours, you can change it.
Yep.
Man.
And then you already see how much interest you get in, how much equity you already building.
Man.
I absolutely agree with you, man, about the properties, and I still don't know the whole game.
Yeah.
But I know that I know we got a good amount of equity in there. We only did
Right.
What else could I have done that would have made me?
Right, yeah, like you're saying.
So that's what you're teaching our kids is like, hey, you might want it, but do you need it?
Yeah.
We pay them allowance not just for doing their chores, but for being having good character. You know what I mean? Making the right decisions in school.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna pay you just to do chores because look, you live here like I live here.
Yeah.
And you need to clean up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and so they get their own money, and they're pretty good at it. They don't blow it like I was blowing money when I was
Right.
They have to really discern. Like we were at Nike with our kids the other day, and it's my son's birthday. I gave him like $100 or something, and so hey, but $100 because I really wanted to see what he did.
Yeah.
So we go in there.
How old is he?
He just turned 9.
Okay.
Okay.
He don't see anything he wants. He's like stuff he likes. He's like, oh, I like this. I was like, so what do you think? He's like, how much is it? I was like, well, we get a discount, so it's this. And then he's like, I don't need it. And it's just like, oh, that feels good because he's just not buying it.
Yeah, just to buy it.
You know what I mean?
It's like if I wanted, I could get it. But like you were talking earlier, that power, I'm saying, like that student you were talking to is already like, you see that same mentality in your son. Like, I can't afford it, but if I don't really love it or want it, like,
If you don't love something, especially when it comes to materialistic items, if you do not absolutely love it, you know what I mean? Like,
It's going to take
2
up
days
space.
later, it's just like, you're done with it.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're trying to teach them. We're still trying to learn, though, because I know we still like to spend, we still like to buy,
Yes.
we're still trying to figure all that out ourselves.
Or also huge givers. And I think one of the biggest
That's
things,
awesome.
Yep.
right? Like one of the biggest things that I was like not nervous to tell Tyler, but I was the go-to for my whole family. I worked this hard, right? And so whenever anybody came to me, I need this, I need that, no problem. I wanted to be the person. So this was, growing up, I was like, there was nobody that I had to go to. Like if I was in a predicament and I needed something, zero. I had to figure it out, right?
Wow, yeah.
And so as the oldest in my family of all my children, all my siblings, which I felt like my children.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, it
I
is.
wanted to not only set an example, but I wanted to be able to have some influence in raising them too, right? And so they saw what I saw, and so I was just at this young age, just very like moved by not wanting them to experience that same life. So how do I do that? So I put this huge responsibility on myself, and I'm glad I did because I really felt in my heart that was God telling me, you need to do this. You're going to be that one.
Yeah.
And I have been, and it's been a blessing. But I wanted to be that one that if my mom called me, she couldn't pay her rent. Here, $900, pay your rent. And I was. And so for the longest time, it wasn't when Tyler and I was and still am that person. So when Tyler and I were first together and we're sharing our finances, a lot of the big ticket items, yes, was to me being, a shopaholic, but it was also like my family. My sister, like always like bailing her out of stuff or giving my brothers money, taking care of them. So I wanted to also be that giver and continue to be that giver because I'm also a firm believer if you give, you'll receive way more, right? More blessings. More blessings you give, the more blessings you receive. And so that was one thing too that when we talked about, and he's a huge giver. Like we talk about this a lot, but we talk about it with our kids. Yeah. So every like Christmas time or any time, they're such givers. They can be selfish sometimes.
Yeah,
They're kids.
Yeah, right.
And if they aren't, I'd be like, what's going on with you? Yes, they are huge givers. And so we will sit back and we talk about, here's your money. What do you want to do with it? And a lot of the times it's like, we encourage them, you should pick a charity or you should go how do you want to give back? There's children in need. What do you want to do? And most of the time they'd be like, give it all. Like my oldest would be like, nope, I don't need 25. We could go give it, or we'll see homeless people. They're like, Mom, do you have money? Do you have money? I don't have cash on me a lot. And I'm just like, man, but when I do, I'm excited because I know they're like, oh, we want to give. Mom, even the baby, like she'll be like, Mommy, he needs money. Mommy, where's your money? Mommy, where's your money? No,
Not at all.
but she sees that. She sees we give, and so it's not, and what isn't an issue. But there's people in need, and how do you not train, but how do you influence your children to be givers too, right?
Yeah.
And I'll just say this real quickly. I think the biggest thing is like the way we've been able to give is because the way that our relationship and how we look at money. Like we're not stingy with it. We're not greedy with it. We believe it can come in abundance if you have a certain mindset and if you're adding value to the world, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, her family, her grandmother, so she called. She's on the phone with her grandma. Her grandma's in Guam. She ain't seen her grandma in 20 years in person. And she's like, "Hey, grandma's coming out here. Just bought her a ticket." I said, "You did what?" Those tickets are 2 racks. $2,000. She said, and then my auntie and my uncle's coming too. I said, "What are you doing?" So it's just like, but it's culturally, right? The island culture,
Yes,
they live together, they take care of each other.
Yeah.
It's just, it's family is tight knit. Where in America, I mean, it depends on your household too.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but I know what you mean.
It's more, more independent. You
Yep.
take care of yourself, whatnot. So that's kind of how I'm like raised, right?
Yeah.
So, but the beautiful thing is like when you have it, like I'm like, well, we got it. I'm not tripping. Like she just got a bonus. Like I just got some other. Like we're not tripping. And it's just like, and to have those moments, right? Like if it was like, oh babe, I just went and bought this Louis bag. I'm like, you did what?
Yeah.
Like why? Like, but to have family here,
Yep.
right? So it could be the same amount of money, but it's the ability to just make those decisions and not be tripping off the money.
Yes, it's what you said earlier, man, about the experience.
Yeah.
You know, when you were talking about with your kids, like I can go and get all this bunch of different stuff or whatever, but giving them the experience. And I think it also goes back to what you talked about producing with the money instead of just saving it, just hoarding it, man. Look,
Stressed out.
bro, I was to get our house right. I was talking to somebody. They were just like, whatever you do, just don't touch your 401k. Just don't touch it. Just don't do it. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, but it's like we gotta get this first one. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm like, for what? Like, what did you sit up in there? And bro, I'm man, because in 7 years, if they only helped me and got me about like this amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And so like I went in there, man. I was just like, man, I drained it. I said, bro, we about to get this house. You know what I'm saying? Like this is going to build equity, like in like
faster than my
401k.
And when the equity goes out, you can pull that out.
Pull it out. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, the game is like totally changed. So like that's what I would say, man. It's just like I love it how you put that, man. And if we're gonna pull it out, man, like I said, that can add to those like the things you talked about, the experiences. You know what I'm saying? Or you can put the equity from that house and use it as a down payment on the next house. Like what you know what I'm saying? Come on, man, for those things for the kids, bro. And so like property is definitely like that way of building generational wealth, man.
And I think it's multiple things that we kind of touch base on is like talking about finances.
Yep.
Recognizing how you grew up, how it's different from your spouse, and how you can come together with a plan. Not being stingy.
No, don't be stingy, man.
First of all, being a giver, but then also managing your money and then investing in yourself. I think is something that was kind of like an underlying thing because just hoarding your money is not going to do much. Yes, you should have a savings. Like I just had to get my car out of tow. That's a whole other conversation yesterday. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. I know. But also like the things that we have planned, like this show, like my boutique, like our music and our music videos and things like that. All that stuff we have to invest in.
Instead of just letting it sit in the savings account.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah, but it's like we were able to create learn as well and create content and have all these learning experiences that are going to help us in the future when we write our scripts and we do other things production wise and so in our next career. So it's just like, okay, well we're investing in ourselves. Like we could have went to school for that and paid way more money, but we put money into ourselves and we're learning as we go. So just thinking about, just kind of wrapping up a little bit about all the things that we just talked about and the things that we're learning. One thing before we end, I did want you to speak about the day-to-day organization. I don't think we got to it yet, about organizing and your spending in your household as well.
Sure. Yeah. So day to day, This is
Or month to month.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
So I'll just kind of lay this out. So I do all of the grocery shopping. So I'm the cook. I'm the one who I love to do that. She does like she takes care of all the money, pays all the bills and all that. So essentially we have several different accounts.
Yeah.
So we have my business account, which we hold that just for business purposes. If I need to transfer some money over to pay myself for something, we'll do that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Then we have our bill account, and then we have our variable spending. So each paycheck she gets paid every 2 weeks, money gets directly deposited into that, a portion of that, and then I throw some money in there as well, and then that's what we have to use. And so honestly, I don't know what the exact number is every month that we get, but we typically at least a couple of times a month have to throw some extra money in.
Yeah.
So our day to day, we're spending money every day, right? Like,
Yeah.
whether it's, we don't eat out a ton, but I do go to the grocery store probably 3-4 times a week. I don't spend $300. I spend 50. I like to make food fresh, so
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, so we're spending. I'm not really tracking it like I should be. I need to actually do better at that, to be transparent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just would say like monthly. We do it more monthly versus weekly or bi-weekly. I know she's tracking it more than I am. I know that I'm the one who mainly uses the variable spending card on that, where I feel like you use more of the Chase card when you're buying things. I feel like you don't use it as much.
I should.
So yeah, I think we try to have a set amount.
Yeah.
Roughly, here's just a set amount that we have. Don't try to go over it. If we do go over it, we know we have overspill that I can use from the business account.
Yeah.
But just trying to build in that discipline.
Yeah.
It's difficult because like now we got like family in town.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
Or we like, we're gonna throw a little Halloween party. Okay, we gotta go out and get all the food for that. So just trying to put all those things in, but we tried our best to have like a set amount of like this is what we're gonna spend, and how to try to stay within those parameters.
Right.
But I would say our biggest expense is the water bill. A lot of bodies getting washed on.
Yeah. That's
Drink a
ownership,
lot of
man.
water.
It's ownership. It's ownership, man. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So what I realized for me is it's actually better for me when I take out cash, but I know it's hard, right? Just because you gotta go to the ATM, you gotta do that. But like when I have that, it's when you're physically giving somebody the money versus just swipe.
Yeah.
It feels different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I try. If I know I've been like it's been a month or two and I've been really not disciplined with my spending. I try to just take out some cash.
Okay, so you can feel it. You feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of.
Yeah. And then you see how much you have left in your hands afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, Dave Rand talked about the money envelopes. That just wasn't realistic. I was like, bro, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Well,
Yeah.
but you transferred it to, instead of envelopes, it's accounts.
Accounts.
So, and I think I like that idea. Maybe something that we can look into too is like, this is the bills account, and this
Absolutely.
is what the bills are going to come out of. Changing everything, so being more organized, changing everything to come out of this account.
Yes.
Our bills are this amount. This needs to stay in here,
Yeah.
and then this is our variable
Variables,
account.
yeah.
And then maybe we also have a savings, and then also knowing, okay, what is going over into the investments
Yep.
and
Yes.
things like that. So
Yes.
yeah, I think that's something that we will also start to work on a little bit more about, just like
Yeah.
organizing a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not that organized. It might have sounded like that.
No, but we
That's more
learned. We
organized
learned,
than
man.
what we're doing. So-
I'm learning because like it
Yeah.
learns. Because even yesterday she just hit me up and just like, hey, I need to go and do because she's planning her baby birthday shower, and she was
Yeah.
just like, hey, I need this amount of money, and she knows it's not in the account, but she knows like I have money, different
Yeah.
places
S-
that she don't see.
Since
So
you manage money now,
So-
I just say, this is what I need, and then you tell me if I can have it or not.
yeah,
That's
that's kind
so
of a little bit,
You
man.
guys shifted.
Yeah.
Who manages
Yeah,
money.
we're still trying to figure it
Yeah.
out. Like I said, like maybe we can make some changes now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the variables and gonna do that account stuff like you guys are.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's it's a game changer.
Because then,
For us.
and there was something that happened. I don't know if it was a couple months ago when you were just like, well, and I was like, oh, do we have money for this? We got to pay for that. And then you said something, and you were like, well, how do you not know how much money? I said, I don't know how much money we actually always have because I just ask you and you just give it to me. And I was like, and you have different savings accounts that I don't have access to.
Yeah.
Some of them are investments and some of them are not. So I was like, how am I supposed to know? I just
So
say,
now I
need
know.
$200, and you just transfer $200.
I've spoiled you. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
I spoiled her,
actually,
man. That's
what
what's
I'm
happening.
saying
So
is
now I
that
gotta
we
do a
need
better
better
job.
communication and organization, because then it's just all in your hands on, okay, you don't actually tell me
Right, it's true.
no, or you don't tell me like, okay, well, actually, I'm gonna save this for this.
Right.
So no, we don't have it, or yes, you just say, oh no, I don't have it, or yes or no. But I don't know exactly what the whole plan is. I don't know what the
Right.
plan is.
Yeah.
I just let you take care of it.
So we'll work on that, man. Man, this has been exciting, man.
Yes.
Man, so excited. Thank the monks for coming by and just sharing of some of their life with us, man. And as far as like the money issue, man, I hope you guys learned a lot. We learned a lot today, man, just having these conversations on the money issue, how it can make your relationship better, more smoothly, and just, you know, having better financial fitness, but not just for you, but for what comes after you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When you know, and then not just like your physical kids, but also like how can you model for like other couples, you know what I'm saying? And how you can model for other people. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really powerful in the earth realm. And obviously we want to do something for our kids, but always think about outside of our family, like who are we modeling for? Who else can we give something to? As they were talking about earlier, giving is not, you know, it's not just in our money and everything, but it's also of like of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? How do you model? You know what I'm saying? What seeds are you able to give to, man? And so those are things that we like to do, man. And so like we just appreciate y'all for
Stop clapping.
Oh, we appreciate you guys for stopping by just to spend time with us today here at Britney and Joe. And you can always hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. We are there. Also, you can share your Instagram, your handles, social media handles as well,
This
man.
is the major influencer, so go ahead, share your
Go ahead.
About 30, 40 followers a day.
No.
Come on.
Okay, it's Venetia_Ray, VENESIA_RAE.
My baby is inspiring. You can follow me at The Underdog Mentality. Just look it up on all platforms. Check us out.
Yeah. Until next time, we love you. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
That was great.
Man, y'all are doing